Hey, I'm Coach Colin Castello with Shot Mechanics Basketball, and today I'm going to teach you how to demolish a 2-3 zone. All right, so you attack a 2-3 zone a lot differently than you would attack a man-to-man defense. And a lot of players see a lot of 2-3 zone when they're younger, but don't really know how to go about attacking it. So in today's video, I wanted to teach you the exact keys that you can do to freeze your defender on that closeout. That way you can get open looks and attack those gaps. Now, before we get into it, I want to give you a free copy of my 7-day shooting challenge. This is a 7-day workout plan that's going to increase your shooting percentage and your shooting consistency. It's one of the very first things I want to run my players through when I first get working with them, and it's this high-level shooting workouts that's going to help kind of take you to that next step. So all you got to do is click the button above or the link in the description and get started on that right away. Now, the very first thing that we want to think about when we're attacking a zone is freezing that top defender. So a lot of the times when you're in a zone, you're going to be catching somewhere out on the perimeter, right? It might be at the top of the key, it might be on the wing, it might be all the way on the baseline. But generally, wherever you're at, because the zone is playing locations, not specific men, they're going to be sliding towards you, right? Very, very rarely am I going to be standing at the three-point line away from the ball and have a defender right on me. They're going to be in help side. They're going to be kind of saving their zone over there, right? So what you see is on the pass as it comes through, as we have a defender closing out one direction, we want to beat him and use his momentum against him to get him either stopped in his tracks or get him to overplay so I can have a gap to attack. So the first thing I love to do is to throw a jab step at defenders when they're closing out. So let's say I get a skip pass over the top, or maybe if it's a swing pass this direction. If I've got one of these top two high defenders coming running at me, a lot of times if you just jab step, boom, at the same direction they're coming, that's going to force them to freeze. So when you open up, you've got a lot of space. So you can almost think about, let's pretend I'm here right where the ball's at, and let's pretend we've got a defender at the top of the 2-3 right here. As the ball gets swung to the side, this defender's closing, and right in this area, when they're kind of in this elbow, is probably where you're on the catch. So if you can catch and jab simultaneously at the same time, when the ball comes, just like this, you're gonna freeze that defender right where they're at, because they're not gonna want to overplay you so you can go by them, right? Once you freeze them, now you can open back up, and now you've got space for your options. You can raise up and shoot a jumper. You can jab and attack to the gap that they've left open, right? You want to read and react and play what they give you. But the jab step's the best one. Now, the key to the jab step is you want to jab whatever direction they're coming from. So if I get a swing past this direction and I have the bottom guy who's closing out on me, I don't want to jab with my left because he's closing out the opposite direction, right? So if I catch, he's coming this way, I want to jab towards him, freezing him right there. That way I can get an open jumper or attack that gap that he left. Does that make sense? So the key to a jab step is, number one, you want to do it on the catch. Boom. As soon as you're catching and jabbing at the same time. Number two, you want it to be nice and quick and concise, right? I don't want to lunge it way out here and bring it all the way back. I want a quick jab, squeak of the sneaker, right? If you can do those two keys and jab at the defender, you're going to freeze them and have a lot of stuff to work with. All right, so the next key we can do to freeze the zone defender to get some open looks is a swing fake. Now, just like before when we used the jab step, was a swing fake, now we're using a pass fake to freeze the defender, because a lot of times in a zone offense, you're going to get one zone defender between two offensive players. So let's say I'm catching on the wing. I might have a defender who's closing out in front of me, and I might have an offensive player on the wing on this side, right? And a swing fake is just basically a pass fake to freeze the defender in whatever direction you want to freeze them. So if I get a pass from the top of the key and I'm going this way, and I get a defender closing out like where the camera's at right now, if I throw a swing fake this way, what's he probably going to do? He's going to slide that direction, right? If I catch the ball and I fake a pass back, he's probably going to slide that direction, right? Now what you can see is as the camera's moving from side to side, it starts to open up these driving lanes for me, and it can freeze to open up this open jump shot for me as well. So the whole key to a swing fake is, number one, you have to sell it, right? If I catch the ball and I just go like this, like I'm not freezing anybody. Like the defender's not going to bite on that, right? But if I jab my foot and I throw the ball out and I really kind of sell it with my eyes, right? I get these big eyes and kind of go like this, that's going to slide the defender out of your way or freeze them in the rotation. That way I can load into my shot, take what they give me, right? So with the swing fake, it really is a matter of, number one, you got to swing it to an actual open threat. You know, a swing fake will always work better if it's to a good shooter, right? So like, let's say you got a knockdown shooter on your team and a non-knockdown shooter on the other side. I want to swing fake to the knockdown shooter because that's who they're probably going to jump to, right? And again, you got to sell it. If you don't sell it with your eyes, if you don't sell it with your feet, it's not going to work. But if you do it right, you'll freeze the zone every time. All right, so now that we've got a couple ways to freeze the defenders on their closeout or on their rotations, now we're going to use something to pull them out to the perimeter to give you angles and gaps to attack, and that's a pump fake, right? Now, most of the time, if you can shoot the basketball, you're gonna be what we call a zone buster, because they're gonna have to pull the zone out. And at the end of the day, if you're a good shooter, teams aren't gonna be able to zone against you. And so that's why the pump fake is so important, because not only are you trying to hit these outside shots, but if you can pump fake, you're gonna draw the D and you can pierce it, and that's where a lot of good stuff happens. Dimes, dishes, floaters, runners, all that sort of good stuff. So the key on a pump fake is when you catch the ball, you wanna load your hips just like a normal shot, and you wanna raise the ball, but not quite your hips, right? What we see on a lot of pump fakes is people will pump all the way up and then they have to reload to explode to go by. But on a good pump fake, it's all in the eyes and it's all in that cell of the ball. So as I catch a skip pass or whatever it is, and I'm loading my hips, I want the ball up and I want my hips to still stay pretty loaded, right? Selling it with the eyes go up to the rim. That's gonna get that closing defender to come hard out to me, right? Because they don't wanna give up a three. And that's when I can, boom, attack the gaps either left or right. Now the whole key to beating a zone is to puncture it early, right? And so you can either do that with like the free stuff we did earlier, or if I can use a pump fake, it's gonna pull that defender out, and then that way I'm gonna get a gap to drive to finish whatever I wanna do, right? Because once you collapse the zone, you're gonna have all sorts of options for skip passes, dump passes, all that good stuff. Now, the key is once you get inside that zone, you gotta have some stuff to work with, right? A lot of players will try to drive all the way in. They'll get all the way into the basket, and then this is where there's the biggest defenders, right? The longest defenders, because generally they put the big guys down in a 2-3 zone. So what you want to do is most of the time when you use that pump fake, you're going to need to use something in this area to score before you get to that second line of the defense, right? Here's where you're going to want to work on your floater package, your runner package, or your pull-up jumper game. You'll notice that in a 2-3 zone, you get a lot of pull-up jumpers by getting this pump fake. Boom, one dribble into about 15 or 12 feet. And you get that jumper on ballast before the D gets there. So I highly recommend you perfect your pump fake, because if you do, it can be an absolute zone buster. All right, if this video helped you out, go ahead and hit that like button and then hit the comment section down below and let me know what sort of video you want to see next. This is a channel for the people, by the people, and I run pretty much everything off request, so leave it down below and hopefully we get to it. And if you're new to shot mechanics, you're going to want to do two things. Number one, hit that subscription button, because we put out videos every week and they're all going to get you better, I guarantee it. And the second thing you're gonna do is click the button down here and get free access to my 7-day shooting challenge. This is a challenge that's gonna revolutionize the way you think about your jumper in 7 days. You know, normally I would charge for this program, but it's 100% free for you today. All you gotta do is click that button and get access instantly. Again, I'm Coach Colin Castello with Shot Mechanics Basketball. Thanks for watching, and until next time, splash on.